Before he was injured, he was into sports, All-American, had a scholarship to play football. His goal was to play for the Dallas Cowboys. Love the Dallas Cowboys. And that was always fun because in the office, doing recreation, everybody came through and they're Bronco fans, so there's all the banter going around. So that was always fun. So huge Cowboy fan. And so when he came out here and got rehabilitated at Craig Hospital, he met guys that were in wheelchairs and introduced him to the sport, and he just loved it. He just ran with it, and it became his passion. It became just everything. The sports were everything to Larry. He was getting older, so the other players were obviously getting older, and what happens to the program? And he knew there were kids out there, and so he knew he needed to reach those kids so that they could become the new adult team. So he wanted start with a youth program, and then Larry wanted to do a prep team. So it was just extremely important to get the youth involved.
Larry started the junior program, and when he started it was right about the same time that I was introduced to the sport. And there were maybe like 5 or 6 kids.
The first basketball camp we had there was 25 of them.
I was first introduced to wheelchair basketball when I was at Craig Hospital just after my car accident. And there's an adjoined hospital to Craig called Swedish Hospital. And someone told me that Larry Sidebottom was over at Swedish because his twins had just been born. I believe this was 2002.
Actually, Larry introduced it to me when I was 6 years old. I went to a camp.
I first met Larry there, and I met him at the basketball station, and I was just trying out.
I just think these kids just were attracted to Larry because of his determination, his drive, his commitment. He saw a commitment to them. He made them, I think he was a little hard on them because he knew what the skills they had, and so he wasn't going to let them slide. So I think kids need that.
At first I was a little bit shy because that's my personality, and then Larry brought me out of that shyness, and I really started enjoying to play basketball. Larry's influence was like what shaped my whole life. Like, he brought me out of my shyness. As I first came into my family, I was really quiet, didn't really say much, and Larry brought the personality that I have outside, and he showed me how to joke around and just make fun of like my disability, that it was okay, like we can still have lots of fun and just enjoy life as it is. And he's helped me through like all the different challenges I come across, and every time I do come across a challenge, I think of, oh, Larry would push me at this point to carry on and not give up. And with him, I've done a lot.
Larry was the kind of guy like that I would look up to, because he could be two things for you. He could be he's like your mentor and coach, and he can push you to the max and really run you into the ground, and he can just be like this teddy bear and like really just be goofball with you.
When I met Larry, you know, I didn't know a lot about wheelchair basketball, and when I was talking to him about it, he was so confident about, oh yeah, you can play wheelchair basketball. I just was not aware of the sport or anything, and just the way he reassured me that if I wanted to get into sports, you know, there were sports that I could get into, softball, you know, a number of different sports.
So when Larry found out that he had cancer, he was devastated. But the thing that kept him going was the kids and the sports. Larry, his body was giving up on him, but his mind and his heart wasn't. And he was going to fight and fight and fight because he had way too many projects going. He had too much to do with the kids. Larry never accepted his fate. Up until the day he died still. I mean, he was still saying he was going to go home, get on his computer, get stuff done. He was going to put off some of his surgeries so that he could run his tournaments.
When Larry started to get sick and was less able to get to practices and work with the kids, I was noticing that, well, who is working with these kids then? People, you know, wasn't sure who was over on the court with them, so I just kind of thought, well, I'll go over there and work with them. And as I started to learn more about the program, and I would have conversations with Larry and other people who had been around for a while, it sounded like the program might be in jeopardy of lacking leadership and someone to kind of see that the program continued, especially that it was kind of in its early stages, and it was Larry had done a fantastic job of starting it. And now that I have worked with the kids for I don't know 7-8 years, something like that, I have so much respect for the fact that Larry was able to start this program, because I understand the challenges of just keeping it running, and to start it from scratch is just really impressive. I'm so impressed with what he did.
And I was playing basketball right in the middle of the season, had nationals, he wasn't there, and that was when it started to kick in. Maybe he's not doing good. My dad had to coach, and then I came home from nationals. 2 days later, he died, and then it just like hit me like 100%. I wasn't functional for a few days. I had to just sit there, and him being gone really, really hurt me. I didn't realize that he was that sick though until after he had passed. And it was quite devastating.
His community was his family. I mean, when he did pass away, we opened our home to all the people. I could not just have it, me, the kids, his brothers and sisters. I literally opened my home to the whole community, and we had hundreds of people come and love on Larry and love on the kids, and they were all so supportive of us, and that's why I thanked Larry. I told him, I'm like, look, we are gonna be okay because you created this. You touched, I don't know how many thousands of people, and now those people are going to be our family and help take care of us and will be there for us.
You know, he not only took his disability, but he tried to make it better for other people along that same path.
If I could say one thing to Larry right now, it would simply be thank you for giving me opportunities to find something positive to do with my life
I wouldn't be playing basketball if it wasn't for Larry ever. The reason I stuck with basketball after Larry died is because he taught me so much, and I was already had such a bright future, and I just stuck with it. I had a lot of times where Larry was gone. It wasn't the coach I wanted to be, but he got me into the sport, and he got me to a point where I was good enough to actually do what I wanted. So when I was struggling, I just think Larry would want me to keep going because Larry got me into the sport, and he did all he could.
And it makes you think about your own life and how many people you've touched. And maybe we need to work a little harder and be a little bit more like Larry and find a passion and something that we can reach the community. He was given a special gift. And it's a shame. And sometimes you question life as to why people like him that had so much more to give, so much more work to do, so many more people to influence, more people to help them grow and to understand that the so-called disability, we all have disabilities. Sometimes other people's you can just see theirs. And that shouldn't hold you back because there's more ability in there than disability. So I just wish he would have had more time to accomplish his dreams. And I want to thank the people that are left behind that are continuing to do that. And that in some way, people will know that that dream was carried on. You know, and that he had a part of that dream, and that when it happens, we can celebrate him too.